Section 4.2 Translations of the graph of the sine and cosine functions. Section 4.1, you guys learn how to graph the sine and cosine. And then these sessions, we're going to talk about translation. We're going to move the graph to the left, to the right, or move upward or move downward. Horizontal translation. The graph of the function y equal to f x minus d is translated horizontally compared to the graph of y equal to f of x. So the blue one here, this is y equal to f of x. You can see if I try to replace x with x plus 3, then you're going to shift the graph to the left 3 units. If I replace the x with x minus 4, then you're going to shift the f of x to the right 4 units. We also can work on this one. Y equal to f x plus 3. We're going to set this guy equal to 0. And then we solve for the x. So we subtract 3 for both sides. You're going to see x equal to negative 3. Since negative means you're going to shift to the left 3 units. So if my y equal to f of x, this point is going to 0, then you're going to shift 3 units to the left. So 1, 2, 3. Same idea for this guy. We're going to set x minus 4 equal to 0. Solve for your x. So x equal to 4. Since x is a positive, so you're going to shift to the right 4 units. And the translation is the d units to the right if d is greater than 0, and is absolute value of the d units to the left if d less than 0. So you could just look at the d in here. With circular functions, a horizontal translation is called a phase shift. In the function y equal to f of x minus d, the expressions x minus d is the argument. Okay, this guy, we call this is the argument. Look at the example. I want you guys try to graph f of x equal to sine x minus pi over 3 over 1 period. Okay, so first, we're going to find the interval of 1 period. We're going to solve the 3-part inequality. We know that for the sine, we could graph the sine curve from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so we're going to set up like this. The x minus pi over 3, that is in between 0 to 2 pi. Okay, 0 to 2 pi, that's a 1 period for the sine here. And then we're going to solve for the x. So first, we're going to add pi over 3. Okay, this is called the three-way inequality. Now, on the left-hand side, 0 plus pi over 3, just pi over 3. This guy cancel out, and left with the x here. And this one get the same denominator, so that will be 6 pi over 3 plus pi over 3, which is going to be 7 pi over 3. Okay, right? So now we do have the first point and the last point. And then we're going to divide this interval into 4 equal parts. So we're going to start with the pi over 3. And we're going to finish at 7 pi over 3. Okay, we need to determine these 3 points. So what we're going to do, we could add it up and then divide it by 2. Okay, pi over 3 plus 7 pi over 3. Add it up and then divide it by 2. Since this is the fraction, so I could just multiply by 1/2. Okay, so this is going to be x pi over 3 times 1/2. Simplify it. You're going to get 4 pi over 3. So this is going to be the middle part here. Okay, so 4 pi over 3. Now we're going to do the same thing. We add up these 2 and then divide it by 2 to get the middle point here. Okay, find the midpoint. Okay, so that's a 5 pi over 3 times 1/2, which is 5 pi over 6. That will be in the middle here. Okay, last one. I want you guys try add up these two guys and then divide it by 2. Okay, add it up and then times 1/2. You should get 11 pi over 6. Okay, 11 pi over 6. Okay, we want to graph this function. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna set the argument is in between 0 to 2 pi. And then by solving this 3-part inequality, we're gonna get the first point and then the last point, which is pi over 3 and 7 pi over 3. And then we use the midpoint formula. Okay, added up divided by 2 to get the middle one. Added up divided by 2 to get the second one. And these two added up divided by 2 to get the fourth one. Okay, right? Okay, before that, do you guys still remember how to graph the sine x? You should have the one here, right? Starting from 0 and with the 2 pi. And it's all going up and then going down like that. This is the sine curve. So the range will be within 1 and -1. I'm going to do the same thing here. And then we just find out this 5 coordinate. So write it down here. Since the graph is going to be shifted to the right, pi over 3 unit, right? Look at here again. X minus pi over 3. So we know we're going to shift the sine curve to the right, pi over 3. Okay, so this is a 0 point. We're going to shift to the right, pi over 3, the first point. This one, pi over 2 and 1, we're going to shift to the right, pi over 3, which is 5 pi over 6. Do the same thing, the pi, you're going to shift to 4 pi over 3. And this one, 3 pi over 2, -1, we shift to the right, pi over 3. Same idea for the last one. Okay, right? Joining all these points together. And then you're going to write it down. Y equal to sine x minus pi over 3. Okay, right? So what is the amplitude? Remember, amplitude will be the distance here, right? Here, which is going to be equal to 1. Okay, how about the period? It's supposed to be 2 pi over b, right? Okay, your b here, which is going to be equal to 1. So period is going to be equal to 2 pi. Okay, example 2. This time my f of x will be equal to 3 cosine x plus pi over 4. So you're going to see x plus pi over 4 is supposed to be shifted to the left, pi over 4 unit. Okay, and then the amplitude here, that will be equal to 3 unit. So first, we're going to write down the argument is in between 0 to 2 pi. I want you guys try solve the 3-part inequality. Okay, we're gonna subtract pi over 4. So this has become negative pi over 4. These two cancel out. This is gonna be get the same denominator will be x pi minus pi, which is 7 pi over 4. And then we're gonna divide this interval into 4 equal parts. So we do have the first point and then the last point here. Write it down. Okay, finding the middle one. Add it up, divided by 2. You should get 3 pi over 4. Okay, try find out these 2 points. Okay, check your work. You should get pi over 4 here. And then there'll be 5 pi over 4. Okay, now we try to graph g of x equal to 3 cosine x. Okay, so the amplitude 3 is gonna be here. Still going down and then going up. Okay, that's a cosine curve. Okay, do the same thing. First, what you're gonna put here? It will be 3 again, right? 3 and negative 3. Okay, and then we just copy the 5 numbers here. And then doing the same thing. This point, we're gonna shift to the left pi over 4. So we do have a 0, 3. It will become negative pi over 4 and then 3. And then this point, pi over 2, that will become pi over 4 here. Okay, gonna have this one. And then join the points together. Okay, what is the amplitude? That's equal to 3, right? 3 units. Okay, 3 units. Okay, period. That will be 2 pi over b, and your b is equal to 1, so you still have the 2 pi. Okay, we're gonna compare these 2 graphs here. Okay, this is we just make it up the g of x, y equal to 3 cosine x. And this is the one we need to graph for the f of x. You could see all those points that will be shifted to the left, pi over 4 unit. Okay, pi over 4 unit. Okay, example 3. Graph f of x equal to negative 2 cosine 3x plus pi over 2 period. Okay, over 2 period. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna write down the argument 3x plus pi that is in between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, try solve the 3-part inequality. Okay, subtract pi. You should get 3x is in between negative pi to pi. And then we're gonna divide it by 3. So x is in between negative pi over 3 to pi over 3. And then we're gonna divide it into 4 equal parts. Okay, the first one and the second one. So add it up, divided by 2, you should get 0. And then do the same thing, add it up, divided by 2. You should get negative pi over 6. So same idea here, that will be pi over 6 here. Okay, so the amplitude here, that will be equal to 2. So we have a 2 and negative 2 here. And then we're gonna write it down this number. Okay, keep in mind we want to graph 2 periods. So from here, from negative pi over 3 to pi over 3, we only have 1 period. Okay, so we just try to graph 1 period. Since this is a negative 2, so we do have a refraction. Okay, cosine is supposed to be just like the u, right? Because of the negative, we're going to start in from here. Okay, negative pi over 3 and negative 2. And then second point, third one, fourth, fifth. Okay, now we only figure out 1 period here. So we want to graph 2 period. We could just extend it here, right? Extend it on the positive part and then extend it to the negative part here. So we need to figure out what is the number in these two. So what we're gonna do, you could just look at the positive side here. And this part will be similar to the session 4.1. Okay, session 4.1. This is just like the half period. This is the quarter period, right? So how can you get this part? You could multiply by 3. Okay, multiply by 3, pi over 6 times 3, which is pi over 2. And then how can you get this guy? You could times 2 with pi over 3 here. Pi over 3 times 2, which is 2 pi over 3. Okay, if you guys remember on the session 4.1, let's say this is going to be the 1 period, 2 pi over 3. You divide it by 2, then you get pi over 3, right? And then you divide it by 2, you're going to get pi over 6. And then you're going to times 3, so you get pi over 2. That's the same idea. Once you know the positive, it will be exactly the same thing. You will just add the negative on it. Okay? And then we're going to keep extending the graph. So this is a pi over 3. Next one, that will be here. And then here. Same thing on your left-hand side. Okay, right? So join all the points together. Okay, what is the amplitude? That will be 2 here. Period, 2 pi over b, and your b, which is gonna be 3. So 2 pi over 3. So this is good, right? That's a 1 period, 2 pi over 3. Okay, vertical translations. We just talked about the y equal to f of x. You could shift to the left, to the right, right? And also, we could do the vertical translation, shift upward or shift downward. When you have the form y equal to c plus fx, the c here, this is talking about you want to translate vertically. If this is a positive, just like here, positive 3, you're going to go up 3 units. If this is a negative, negative 5, then you're going to go down 5 units. Okay, example 4. 3 minus 2 cosine 3x over 2 periods. Okay, first, we're going to let g of x equal to negative 2 cosine 3x. Only this part. Once you are done for graphing g of x, you could just shift the g of x upward 3 units. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. What is the period? Period will be 2 pi over b. Your b will be equal to 3, right? So 2 pi over 3. Amplitude, that was equal to 2, right? This is always positive. Refraction, yes, because this is a negative here. Okay, since amplitude equal to 2, so we do have a 2 and negative 2 here. And then we're going to figure out 1 period, 2 pi over 3, that will be here, divided by 2, or you could multiply by 1/2. Multiply by 1/2, so that will be pi over 3. Multiply by 1/2, so you're gonna get pi over 6. And then times 3 here, so that will be pi over 2. Okay, so they do have the refraction. So the first point, that will be 0 and negative 2. And then pi over 6, 0, pi over 3, 2, pi over 2, 0, and 2 pi over 3, negative 2. We join all these points together. Okay, and then we need to graph for the 2 periods. So I figured out this part already. I could extend it. And then I'm gonna do the same numbers, but with the negative. Okay, I just copied this part and make it like negative. So I do have like 2 periods of the graph. And then extend it. And this is only like g of x, okay? Only negative 2 cosine 3x. But then we're gonna add 3 here. Add 3 means we're gonna move this graph 3 units upward. Okay, so suppose this point should be negative 2, you're gonna add 3 units. So negative 1, 0, and positive 1. So this point become positive 1. This one from 0 to 3 unit. This one from 2 to 5 unit. Okay, so you should have the graph like this. Write down the name, okay? Write down the name of the equation. Okay, example 5. Graph f of x equal to negative 1 plus 2 sine 4x plus pi over 2 periods. Okay, so first we want to graph the g of x, only this part, 2 sine 4x plus pi. So we're gonna start with this part here, 4x plus pi will be in between 0 and 2 pi. Solve the three-way inequality. So we're gonna subtract pi. You should get 4x in between negative pi to pi. Divided by 4. Okay, and then we're gonna divide it into 4 equal parts. So we have a negative pi over 4 and pi over 4. Try to figure out these 3 points. Okay, that would be the midpoint, okay? Added up, divided by 2. Okay, check your work. You should get 0, negative pi over 8, and pi over 8. Okay, now graph 2 sine 4x plus pi. So the amplitude, that will be equal to 2. So we have a 2 and negative 2 here. Okay, and then we write down the coordinates here. Okay, so the first point, we don't have the refraction, so it's gonna be starting from 0 here. And then sine curve is gonna be going up, so that will be negative pi over 8 and 2. And then going down, 0 and 0. And then like this. Okay, right? But we need 2 period. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna extend it. Do the same thing here. You could multiply by 3 for this guy. So you should have 3 pi over 8. And then times 2 here, you're gonna get pi over 2. Okay, do the same thing for the negative. Okay, now we're gonna extend the graph. Okay, now we're gonna graph f of x equal to negative 1 plus the gx. So we're gonna shift 1 unit downward, okay, for this graph, 1 unit downward. So you could check here, that will become negative 1, this one become negative 3, this one become negative 1, this one become 1. Okay, you're gonna shift downward. join all the points together. And then write down the line here. Okay, this is just like the x-axis, and then we write it down. This is y equal to -1. Make sure you guys write down the name of the equation. Okay, so this is going to be the 2 period of f of x. That's it.